Alright, Alfonso, give us your stance on it. Are robots good for this
so
for society? Agree or disagree?
So I disagree because, well, yes and no. There's some things that robots can help with, but mainly I disagree. I don't think it's very good for robots to take over the community because let's say you're working in a sustainable job, to help your family buy food, you get money to buy food, and then your manager says or your owner says there's a robot taking your place, and they fire you. What are you gonna do then? You have no job. The robot isn't making any money. The robot is not a human being. The robot doesn't have flesh and bones. The robot is just to do the job. And they don't have feelings or anything. And it's like, I get when they can help with jobs like hard jobs like in a restaurant they can serve serve that. But to take over the whole community, I don't think it's really a good way to put robots to work.
Now, Alfonso, when you say take over the whole community, what do you mean by that?
I mean like stores, factories, restaurants, businesses.
So be in the position to run it is what you meaning? Or are you meaning like for them to be in positions to run it?
Yeah, like to run it,
Okay.
to work there and like serve you. Like let's say you're going to a restaurant, like they serve you, like a robot, like a human robot coming up to you and asking for your order.
Okay, I got you. Okay.
Good.
Okay, so
Hold tight there. We'll get
I agree because it just says are robots good for society? That means are they beneficial to the human race? And I'd say yes, because if there are jobs that humans cannot do or are too dangerous for humans to do, then robots could be a great substitute for them. Because think about this: if there's like a dangerous rescue mission to get like 3 lost divers or something, you're not gonna want to send another human that can just get easily as lost. You want to send a robot that can have great precision and get them out of the place.
Okay, so like with the precision part, like that's a lot of programming and building a robot takes a lot of time. And, everything's got to be perfect. In a robot, you gotta have every screw in place. You gotta have every programming correct. And like I get like a robot going into like a tough situation like that, but for helping for society, I mean they can help with like hard jobs like you said like that. But I mean other than that, like let's say you have a homemade or not a homemade like a family established restaurant, okay, and then a robot cannot take over that, okay. Yes, you can program the robot to have the recipes of the business. But you can't take away the love and the care that people do with that. Like you can't have a robot grandma come and make you cookies. That's not the same thing as you going over to your grandma's house and getting the fresh baked cookies or like that. But I guess they could help with hard jobs. But other than that, I mean, humans have been doing this for lots of like many years. And yeah.
30 seconds.
Okay, the thing about you said that your robot will just take like over your grandma and make you cookies. The thing about that is, it's up to the person who runs the business or company if they want robots in the establishment. It's not just like, ooh, a robot is gonna like take over your grandma or something. Like it's gonna be decided if they're gonna take over like that job. And even if they take over jobs, they'll be equally as much making jobs because they'll have to make the robots, they'll be programmers for the robots, they'll be them sending them out into the tough situations or just like that, right? Just
5 seconds.
Okay, so people nowadays, how people nowadays they're very like not working hard. This generation's not hardest working. So they would bring in robots no matter what because it's, they're not hardworking and they want to get out of as many things as they can. So if they have an offer, they would get it immediately because less work for them, the less thing they have to do, but they still make money. But like,
I don't want to cut you off. I'm just trying to give you a little bit more time to talk. All right. We have audience. They want to weigh in, and then we'll let you guys. We'll kick it back to you, Jada.
Okay, me?
Yep.
I think your whole argument was like more based on like robots taking over all of society. That just says a robot's good for society. He's not talking about like a whole billions of robots. Maybe like a few. Maybe they can help with like what he said, like hard jobs or just things that humans can't do or too overwhelmed to do. I think your argument was like based on robots taking over the whole world and replacing humans. I don't think that's what they're trying to say.
Would you like to weigh in on that, Alfonso?
I mean, yeah, like robots, like I did talk about, you know, like taking over society, but other than that, humans have established things. You know, they build buildings. A robot, I don't think, unless like in many years, maybe a robot can build a house. You know, maybe a robot can go and hammer wood and like drill holes in wood to make a frame of a house.
Okay, the definition of a robot, like, you know, like the equipment we use, right? Those build houses. And it's hard to build a house by hand, right? It's really tall, you know? Robots do that for us right here. Machines.
Like machines to cut the wood, yeah, but you don't see many machines out there building frames of houses. My dad is a blueprint maker, and he goes to houses. He goes to houses, and I've never seen a robot doing something. Maybe a robot would cut the wood into certain pieces, or maybe a robot would like drill. I mean, I don't know if that's a robot, but you know.
She's talking like machinery, like a drill is what she's trying to say. Like that is a machine.
To the question, I think his point is stronger. Are robots good for society? They are. They have more benefits than like cons, right? They can bring more good than bad. Of course, like things can go wrong, and they take time to program and stuff. But everything takes time.
All right, Dominic.
So I do agree with Dominic on robots are good for society, except there's like one concern would be like if someone tries to sabotage like by throwing an EMP, because that would like turn off the entire robot system. So let's just say like what you were giving an example earlier, the robot is like swimming down trying to get those divers. Let's just say someone's like just hates those divers' guts, they throw an EMP down, turns off the robot. All hope is lost. Like, so there could be like something to sabotage.
Okay. All right. Miss White.
I didn't catch the whole debate, so I'm not sure what some of the points were in the beginning. However, there is a Wendy's on Bloomingdale, and they are using AI for their there's nobody at the window anymore. And so you order and you're talking to this robot, and it's not very effective. So I think it's beneficial in some circumstances, but something like that I feel like it's taking away jobs that we could easily do. But in the case that the point that was brought up, you know, to do jobs that humans aren't able to do, I do agree. But like if I'm ordering to this robot and I say I want no pickles, and it's like, oh, that's not an option, you can't change it. So it makes it harder instead of me talking directly to a person, because there are those presets. Like all it knows is what you tell it. So it kind of makes it hard, and it makes the ordering experience even longer when it doesn't have to be. That's my 2 cents.
Thank you, Ms. White, for weighing. And I think, Alfonso, when you were talking about like a family-owned restaurant, where you were saying that a robot can't give you that customer service, that personalized experience like a human can. So that's exactly what Ms. White was saying. So, all right. So thank you guys. We're gonna go ahead and weigh in. Excuse me. We're gonna go ahead and weigh in on the. And I'll go to the next question.
Wait, we didn't vote.
We did?
No.
Listen, Ms. Carter is trying to speed through. Let me slow down. All right. So agrees. Put them up.
Who was agree for?
Who's for our robots good for society? Let me see what you got. You agree? No. All right, put the agrees down. Let me see the disagrees. Yeah, I was not. Yeah, I was expecting. All right, thank you guys. So we're gonna move on to the next question. All right, should schools require students to wear uniforms? Ooh, and I got some parents in here, so this is gonna be great because I want to get you guys weigh in.